Hello everyone. I'm back with the another topic. Hello everyone. Hello learners. I'm back with the another topic. So, welcome to the another session for EVS from my end. That is Noor Huda. So, in the last session, I was talking about the philosophical perspective towards the EVS. Now, let me share my screen with you all. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible and let's begin with our session for today. Today I'm going to talk about the approaches and methods of presenting concepts of EVS. So, how you are going to engage every child in the learning environment. We are going to see that today. And also, we are going to talk about the kind of a meta teacher, a teacher who is beyond teaching, who is a teacher who goes beyond the syllabus or the curriculum. Let's go and let's see what kind of a teacher we expect as a meta teacher. So, a meta teacher is a one who we can as I have told you, it is a one who is having the extensive experience, a teacher who goes beyond the curriculum, beyond the syllabus, a teacher who goes not only in finishing of the content, but making the learners to learn from it. So that is what a meta teacher meant for. Now, in this context, let's move on to the other aspect of our presentation. That is, we are going to learn about how a teacher can involve in the learner by doing the activity-based learning. So, how a teacher can make the learning more activity-based. So let us see what kind of a nature of activities for EVS we are going to look into. What kind of activities in the activity-based learning can be incorporated. So first thing that I would like to discuss is connect the learner to the learning towards the learning outcome. The major very important aspect for any subject that we teach is connecting the learning outcomes to whatever the content you're teaching. So the learning outcomes is something that is the objective that you decide for that plan or for that period. And that learning outcomes should be beneficial and that learning outcomes should be achieved by the end of the session. And then uh, the activities which we are going to provide, it should give the learners a real-time experience, and it also makes the learner to become more acquainted to what topics they are being confronting or they are being facing through the learning process. And when it comes to activity based learning for EVS, we can find that the learners safety need to be kept in mind. And whatever the topic we are deciding upon, whatever topic we are, as a teacher we are teaching, they should not be time consuming, and it should not be too lengthy. And if it is a very long topic, it should be divided into parts, because that monotony, it creates a monotony. To remove that monotony, the division of the activity should be done. And whatever the activities we are planning, it should be age appropriate, and it should develop the interest, curiosity. It should make the meaningful learning, meaningful information. It should help the learner to get a self direction in the learning process. And also, we can find that these activities should provide a proper experience to the children, and it should help the learners to get involved into the learning of EVS. And as a teacher, you also need to observe that the learners are getting involved into the learning. So activity based learning is such a process which helps a teacher to get involved and make the the learners also get involved. So vice versa, we can find that activity-based learning is helping not only the teacher getting involved, but also the learner getting involved. And here what we can do is in the activity-based learning, a variety of activities can be transacted and based upon the experiences of the teacher. The activities which she has conducted already, those activities can also be included, and such activities can also, get can be used in the transaction of the teaching. Now let us see what kind of involvement of the learners need to be there, what kind of involvement the learner should give when the activity-based learning takes place. Here, first thing we need to keep in mind that the if you want to have the involvement of the learners in the activity-based learning, you as a teacher need to encourage the children to bring in and share their personal context and experiences. Second thing we need to keep in mind that we should have a teacher children or teacher parent talk, or talk with the elder. Children are talking to the parents, children are talking to the elders, to the community, so that they can collect the information. So activity based learning is something wherein you can make the activities designed in such a manner that you can involve everyone, you can involve the whole family, you can involve the whole community as such. And next thing what we can see is the encouraging children to different sites in the neighborhood, because it helps the child to learn, to observe, or to understand its surroundings. Because as we know, EVS is such a subject that it is totally environmental based. So if we are making the learners to get more acquainted or to get more understanding of the neighborhood, and letting them to observe, letting them to record, interview, investigate, will also help them to encourage themselves to participate, and they will definitely submit good reports. That is what we are talking about in this constructivist education. There are 4 steps we need to follow in conducting these activity based learning. First thing is planning. Whenever we go for any activity-based learning, we need to go for proper planning. If the planning is not done in a proper manner, then if there is any deviation in the planning, then that whole activity will become either boredom, or it might be looking very haphazard, or it may create a havoc condition. So there, to remove this problem, we need to have a proper planning of the activity, whatever we are planning, we are executing in the classes. Then conducting the activity. When the activity is conducted, how the planned procedures are being decided, in that manner only the activity should go. It should go in sync, step by step planning, one after the other, the step has to be followed, and the activity need to be conducted. And simultaneously initiating the activity. Why we need to initiate the activity? Because the initiation is required for the learners to get involved in the activities, so that they can become more involved, more acceptable, so that they can understand as to what is going on and how to go about the activity. Initiation doesn't mean that the teacher is going to make the students do the activity, but the teacher will allow the learners to get involved into the activity. So the involvement is what important. So that initiation has to be done while you're initiating the activity. Basically, you give the introduction, you give the details of how this activity has to be going on, or how this activity will be conducted. Similarly, you need to proceed with the activity, in a sense that as we have initiated, it should be proceeded. We need to ensure that all the learners are understanding the concept, they are meaningfully accepted that concept, they are able to get motivated, encouraged to go about with that topic. So that proceeding we need to observe. Then ending of the activity. The activity need, when it is coming to the conclusion, it should be consolidated, it should be relevant. The conclusion of the activity should be done in a relevant manner, and the learning outcomes that we have decided, it should be also identifying those things. Basically, the activity should based upon the learning outcomes that we have decided, or the objectives that we have planned. So in that manner, the further direction will be going on in this activity-based learning. And then a reflection on the process. After the conclusion, you need to reflect the activity as to how the activity has gone, what kind of an experience the learner has experienced, how they have conducted the activity, what are the significant learning that they have done. All those fundamental factors that they have understood need to be reflected. After the reflection, we will go for revising. Yeah, the last step is revising. So when we are going for the revising, here we often see that the result of the reflections are realized, and there the benefit of it, the weaknesses or the strengths are being understood, are being critically analyzed, and they also have a discussion on the improvisation of the same activity if they conduct it next time. So this is something we can find that in the activity-based learning, this part of revision takes place. Then what is next, we'll switch to the other aspect of activity-based learning, the role of a teacher. A role of a teacher is to create a positive environment, because the better the environment, the better the learning takes place. Because a teacher need to be encouraging, motivating, and a person who is meaningfully changing the perspective of the learner and helping the learner to have a better interaction, to develop them, to also have a progressive development. That is what is very important. Then the other aspect is of a teacher is a teacher develops what you say a kind of a well organized plan execution. The other role that she does is an organized manner of conducting the activity. As I have told you, if the activities are not planned, then there will be a lot of confusion, havoc, discrepancies or disturbances that can be created. If the activity is planned, then it executes very well. So that execution is done by the teacher, and it's a very greater role that she plays in it. And one more thing, that the teacher need to be always motivated and focused when she's conducting such activity based. Then recapitulation of the lesson, whatever they have learned, recapitulating of the learning that the learners have learned during the activity is being done by the teacher. And likewise, a teacher creates an innovative and conducive conducive environment. She creates an innovative activity, innovative methods of conducting those activity is also being created by the teacher itself. For instance, the same games, whatever the teacher is making them play, the same word game can be manipulated, can be conducted in an innovative manner, and it can also be given in different manners, different ideas, different different methodologies can be followed. So that is what we can find, that the role of a teacher is playing a very critical role in whenever we are going for activity-based learning. Now let us switch to the other one, that is cooperative learning approaches. So here we can call it as learning through teamwork. So what are the features of cooperative learning approach? First, it generates a diversified body of method of instruction. Because we have this, when it comes to cooperative learning, it has number of methods, different types of methods, which we are going to discuss in this session. So there are different diversified methods that we are going to see in the cooperative learning. And here, when we speak about cooperative learning approach, it is something that you work in groups to attain a common goal or common outcome. Here what we observe is in the cooperative learning, they share a common problem and they succeed in completing the work. So what is the role of a teacher in a cooperative learning? So the teacher goes beyond the boundaries of a single subject or a grade. She goes beyond the normative philosophy of teaching learning values, and the teacher appreciates the social context of the learner, as she appreciates the people who are different, and the diversities that are critical in a democratic society is not only being appreciated, but she will also make the learner appreciate it. So that appreciation, the sense of appreciation is being developed through this. And the major role of a teacher is to help the children to develop values. So the value inculcation, the value cooperation, the value of cooperation is being developed from the teacher end among the learners. And the major impact of a teacher is the teacher empowers the learner in learning the things, in learning concepts in a more collaborative manner. There are certain principles of cooperative learning. The first one is it has a structured for a small group. It is structured for a small group. It usually doesn't takes for a very large groups, because cooperative learning, the larger the group, the greater the confusion. So the smaller the group, the better the understanding. So here when we are teaching certain concepts, in the cooperative learning, we go for small groups. And it is also called as teacher made suitable technique and method. Basically, we can find that the essential aspect of cooperative learning is to incorporate it. So cooperation is very important of both the teacher and the learner. Apart from that, there are three important principles. First is positive interdependence. Positive interdependence. So what is this positive interdependence? So in this, a positive interdependence, it includes the sharing of common team goal objects, sharing of common resources, creating common identities of the group, or emphasis on the positive emotions and attitudes that is reflected through helping and encouraging. And the other principle is individual accountability. In this individual accountability, here the task that is given to the learners, they are more oriented in completing the task, and they work together as a group. So a sense of individual accountability is developed, a sense of self-responsibility, self-accountability is developed. That is what they become a team. They think like a team. So that individual is now a team. So in this cooperative learning, this habit of team building will develop among the learners. And the other principle is equal status interaction. There is no discrimination based upon status, money, or caste, or creed, or any racism is included. Here, an equal status is given, and the interaction is based upon equality, and how every individual in a group is skillful based upon the knowledge. All those things, they are respected. So here we can find that equality is maintained and a smooth teamwork goes on. And here the role of a facilitator is very much important, because the facilitator need to need to treat everyone with respect, without any differences, without any biases in or any favoritism in the mind. Now let us see what are the advantages of using this cooperative learning. So first advantage is it increases the students' ability to appreciate other perspectives and viewpoints, and it is based upon the local context, comprises multiple views, development of analytical thinking and problem solving, and role as a facilitator is the most important one. So basically, all these are the certain advantages that we observe in the cooperative learning, wherein as a teacher, she need to or he need to be more, more understanding upon the learners. And here we can find that as a learner, the learner will also understand the local context, because the activities that usually teachers give is based upon the curriculum that are designed based upon the areas. So here the geographical location or local understanding will be more in that. And also we can find that there is a multiple disciplinary approach it is. So we can find that multiple viewpoints are being accepted in this, and They also the learner, when we speak about the analytical problem solving, they try to enhance their sub skills or the skills, so that in that one thing they can develop their idea of that concept. Now let us see what are the challenges in the cooperative learning. So the first challenge what we observe is it involves a lot of planning, and we need to be aware of the real life issues, and it also helps the learner to continue meaningfully with the assigned group work. So sometimes the group may have certain cohesions in that the group work may become more stagnant, or sometimes what happens, the group leaders are not appropriate, and then the meaningful learning is not happening. So here these are the some challenges we face when we go for cooperative learning. And what is the most challenging thing is here, the role of a facilitator is very important here. The facilitator plays a significant role. If the facilitator or a teacher is not cooperating, if the teacher is not having a greater wide spectrum vision, then there might be certain issues when we conduct such activities. Now let us see what kind of teaching methods we follow in this cooperative learning. There is observation that we can do in cooperative learning: creative expression, field visit, small group discussions. So when we speak about the observation method, what are its usage? It helps in planning and preparation for the observation we do. We undergo the actual observation. When it comes to the observation, it is one of the very important or very what you say very challenging activity, because as we all know, here the observers need to explore, need to discover the world around them. As a child, when they observe things, they might see things in a very small lens, or sometimes it can also be magnified lens. So that observations need to be more critically analyzed. It should the understanding, the construction of knowledge, the reconstruction of knowledge is, is done when you go for observation. So this construction and reconstruction of knowledge is something that is the once experience has been observed during this. So as when we use this observation method, it is a good activity wherein you can ask the children to draw something, draw a diagram or color or maintain a scrapbook by observing the things what they are doing. So when we are using the observation method, we need to Yes, when we speak about the, as we can observe that observation is a method which helps the, there are certain usages of the, there are certain usages of the observation. So first thing that we speak about is planning and preparation for the observation. What type of a setting, what kind of an activity you're going to do, that has to be planned. Actual observation should take place wherein the method, the technique should previously decided, and what are the available sources are available in the environmental situation need to be kept in mind. Analysis and interpretation need to happen wherein how you are going to observe, what you are going to record, all those subjective analysis should be reduced, rather objective analysis need to be taken place so that you can have proper interpretation. Later the interpretations you can do the generalizations of the result, and you can make the generalization based upon the facts or the principles, the tools that you have used, and in that manner you can use worksheets, you can use schedules, you can use checklists, you can have rating scales, you can also have the scorecards for making the generalization of the observation method. When we speak about the advantages of the observation method, we can find that it is most encouraging method to explore the environment. It develops the observation skills of the learner, encourages the student to see, think, and establish connections, and it helps the students to able to infer similarities and the differences, and it helps the learner to acquire the knowledge in a real-time situation and concrete situation and more objective in understanding, and it also helps to satisfy and develop curiosity among the students. So for now I just will stop here. In the upcoming session I will go move on to the other methods of teaching methods for cooperative learning. So thank you so much for being there as an active participant and a learner. So see you all in the next session, that is upcoming session. Thank you so much.